Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. So, if you're watching this from the UK and you're watching this live, it's Monday morning, and I wanted to share this week's Monday Motivation. It's actually a subject that's really close to my heart. I'm really passionate about this. It's the whole reason I think that I possibly became a coach in the first place. And some of you may know my work out there, some of you may not, so just in case you don't. Currently I help people to raise their visibility so that they can stand out in a way that feels good to them and they get promoted, or they can, if they've got their own business, have people see what they do within their business and have people come to them. And one of the things that I've also been known for over the years, in fact, from as young as I can remember, was activating ability in people. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know how I do that. So there's no kind of ninja tips or tricks that I can share with you. But I do know that most of the people that I come into contact with have a really deep desire, really innate desire to be able to share what they do and be able to speak up or just get things done. And quite often in my job as a coach, I come across people who are stuck or feel that they can't get stuff done. So whilst I see some of you hopping on, and I want to say good morning to Ivona. Ivona, you are absolutely golden, because I think you've been to every single one of these Monday Motivations. So, you know, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So today we're going to cover just some little insights really as to how to go underground. What does that mean? You know, that kind of thing. Things that will not only motivate your Monday, but have a really good boost and a really good start to your week. And this normally goes for about anything between 10 and 20 minutes. So my hope is, I'm just going to acknowledge Ivona and say morning, because she says morning. And so I just really want to be able to tell you a little bit more about the insights of going underground. And Ivona says she loves my sessions. Thank you so much. It's really interesting. So many people that haven't got onto Facebook Live just yet say that they are worried because they feel like they're just speaking to a camera. And I genuinely love seeing the comments and seeing the people hop on. And I love the fact that Facebook allows people to go back later and watch again, which is brilliant. So we're going underground today. What is this underground stuff all about? So for those of you that saw the video that I put out, I normally put out a little 45-second video or so on a Sunday, just to remind you about today. I'll pop it on the page so that you can see it as well. But for those of you that haven't seen it, I was actually in London Euston Station. I was in the tube station. I'd been to the train station. I was in the tube station. And I was underground, and I thought, you know what, this is a perfect time for me to talk about this sort of stuff. So I'm just saying hi to Alan as well. Good morning, Jenny, he says. Good morning, Alan. Really great to see you here. And you were here last week too. I love it. So I was in this underground station, and it just occurred to me that 80% of what we do, this is my reckoning here, I reckon about 80% of what we do falls into this kind of 80-20 split, Pareto's law. 80% of what we do at any time of our lives is definitely underground. What do I mean by that? It's in our mindset, it's in the way we think about things, it's in the way that we process our thoughts, where we put our focus and that kind of thing. And about 20% is in the actual doing itself. So honouring you, Ivona, honouring you, Alan, for being here, and for the rest of you that are jumping on. I can see people are jumping on and jumping off. I don't know if that's internet connectivity or what, but welcome along anyway. Quite often, one of the biggest challenges that most of us face in life with many things that we want to do or aspire to do is the ability part, thinking that we can or thinking that we can't. Some people, believe it or not, who think that they can do something, have something else that shows up, and sometimes that's enough to knock them out of the way. You know, I don't know if you've ever had this desire to do something and it started to happen, and all of a sudden you get the shakes or the wobbles and you think, oh my gosh, is this really happening? and there's a part of you that kind of pulls back and puts on the brakes, and it's that kind of stuff that I'm talking about. This is the stuff that goes on underground. Some people refer to it as the subconscious, and I'm saying morning to you, Ian, as well. Thank you for joining in. And some of us refer to it as, you know, mindset or blocks or anything else like that. But there are also, sometimes we want to do something and there's just something that stops us. And even our logical brain can't fathom it out, can't work it out. So today I'm going to be talking about some of the insights that I've gleaned, not only with myself, but with some of the clients I've worked with, some of the conversations I've had, some of even the companies. You know, you go into these companies and you speak to people at quite high level, like executive level, board level, you know, director level. And they have their own nuances of these as well. So no one escapes this. Even the people you deem to be successful, that get out there in the world and do really great stuff, even they have like little inner underground battles too. So the reason I share that with you is because I don't want you to think that you're alone. I don't want you to think that, you know, your big dreams and your plans don't matter. And Ian says, good morning, Jenny. And I'm saying good morning back. I don't know why I said it in that silly voice, but hey ho, it's early. I've actually been up for 2 hours already. So I'm more awake than the average person, I think. So 20% of what we do is in the doing, and 80% of it, I reckon, is in our heads, under the bonnet, underground. So if I'm looking down, it's because I have some notes under the camera, because I've got a few specific things that I don't want to forget. Here's one of the biggest, like, if there was one thing that stops us from doing the stuff that we want to do, one thing that I could share with you right now to say this is the very thing that gets in our way, this thing would be this. Pay really close attention, even though I'm waggling my pen at you. Pay really close attention to this, because this is like the number one thing. It's actually quite irrelevant what we're trying to achieve, what we're looking at doing, what we're trying to make happen, what we feel that we can or we can't. The number one thing is us not knowing exactly what we want. And I know that sounds completely simplistic and completely crazy, and I can't believe you got me up at 7 o'clock this morning to tell me this, but it's true. Now, I know how this plays out, and it normally plays out in the way in which we talk about it, and I'm including myself on this. How many times have we wanted, you know, I don't know, it might be to go on holiday, or it might be a goal or an objective, or it might be something that we want to achieve. And when somebody starts to ask you about it and you start to give the questions, you find yourself weirdly going, well, I think this, or I'm not sure about that. And we find ourselves maybe not being able to articulate it clearly. We put it down to, oh, well, I'm not very fluid in how I speak, or I'm not articulate, but it's absolutely nothing to do with that. It's not knowing what it is we want. And quite often, people will come and work with me and say, I've got this goal, I've got this desire, I really want to make it happen. And then I'll check in with them, and they might even say, oh, well, I haven't got round to it yet, I haven't made time for it yet, but I will. And one of the things that I would really encourage you to do is to know exactly what it is you want, to the letter, to the T. And the best way that I know of doing this is to write it down. And then once we've become really clear on what it is we want to do, then there are a couple of things that I've started to notice, and at this point I'll warn you now that I will look down because I've got some stuff just written underneath here. So there's a couple of things that I've noticed. One of the first things that I notice is somewhere along the line we've broken a promise, and somewhere along the line we've broken a promise to ourselves. When we've broken that promise to ourselves, it makes us a little bit less likely to go for the thing. Now, this could be based on something that you did years ago when you were a kid. It could be based on something that you did like the day before, the week before, the month before, a few years before. But we break our promises. And how do I know that? How do I know that we break our promises to ourselves? Which is probably the worst feeling in the world, because it's all inside the body, all inside the head. We know that we've done something or not done something, and we have that playing out in the background. And when we go to do something new, we stop ourselves. How do I know? How many times have you heard yourself or someone else say, I'm going to do this, or I'll be doing that, or I'm gonna, what was the other expression? If I didn't have such and such, then I would. I will be doing this. I might be doing this. And one of the biggest clues is I'm going to try. And normally when people say they're going to try something, they don't even say they're going to try. See, the gonna comes in there as well, or going to in polite English. They normally say, I'll try. What that means is, it's nothing to do with that person that they're not committed or they're not going to try. What that normally shows us is that they have an element of doubt inside. And this live stream would go on for way too long if I was going to go through and explain everything about that. I just want to say hi to Ali. Thank you for joining. So this is nothing to do with looking at how you say things and trying to change it. This is all to do with what's going on underneath. So we break our promises to ourselves. So if there's anything that you've tried to do and you've wanted to try and get going and haven't been able to do it, look at what you may have said to yourself. Look at what you may have said, I'm gonna. Look at where you might have broken a promise to yourself and not done something. The reason is actually irrelevant, but look at where you've broken a promise to yourself. And Ali's saying hi, so I want to say good morning back. Hi, good morning. She says, morning, Jenny, and I'm saying morning, Ali. So thank you, Ali. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Alan. And thank you, Ivona, for being here. So, other things that I've noticed. We tend to hold on to things, and you may have heard people out there, especially in the personal development arena, they talk about surrendering, letting go. But what does that actually mean? Quite often when we have a focus or a goal or a desire, we look forward. Now let me share a story that just springs to mind on this. Because when we don't look forward and we're looking around and backwards, it can sometimes get in the way. So this is going back quite a few years ago. I had this gorgeous client in Cardiff, and I went to Cardiff to go and do the work with them. We spent a really great day. We had some most insightful conversations, really great breakthroughs, and got them to a place that, to be honest, they didn't think they could get to, all in this one day that we spent together. I call them a VIP day, but other people have other names for this. So I went to go home, I was getting the train, I went to go through the barriers, and I remember I didn't have a lot of time, so I'm rushing. The client dropped me down there. She said, you know what, I'm going to park my car and then I'm going to come in and wave you goodbye. I said, well, don't worry, if I'm not here, I'm on the train. So I'm running through, I get to the barriers, I put my ticket in, the barriers open, and at that point I hear, Jenny, and I do this. I look behind me. Now, the purpose for me in that moment was moving forward, was going for that train, was getting that train before it left the station. And just at the moment where my focus needed to be forward, getting on the train, getting, forward towards the thing that I needed to do, I just looked back. Now, you might think, well, what's wrong with that? Well, the moment I looked back, the barrier started to close and I actually got stuck. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a great analogy for life, because quite often we stop ourselves from getting the things we want because we don't let go. And when I say we don't let go, we hold on to the past. We hold on to people in the past. We hold on to circumstances in the past. We hold on to situations of things that have happened in the past. So while we're trying to do this dash, we're trying to move forward like this, we claim that we want to go towards our goal. We claim that there's something that we want, but we end up doing that. So when you're running like this, it makes it really hard to run in the direction of your dreams, your desires, your goals, your plans. So we don't let go of either the situations, the peoples, the thoughts, the focus, or whatever we need, and often stop ourselves. The other thing that we do is we put barriers up for ourselves. I remember I worked for a company many years ago whose tagline was life because life is complicated enough. And then what happens? Us complex human beings take the stuff into our heads, mull it over, turn it around, and then we accidentally, inadvertently put up barriers. And think about this. Where have you put up a barrier in something that you've wanted to do. And when I say we put up a barrier, we then start to, rather than looking forward and running towards the thing that we want to do, we start to look at why it won't work, why it won't happen, why it can't happen, why we can't do it. And before you know it, our head is filled with all of these reasons that we can't, and reasons that we won't, and reasons that it's going to fail and not work. This is one of the most biggest ways we almost poison ourselves. So there's a couple more. So I've talked about letting go or not letting go of people, situations and things, breaking the promises to ourselves, putting our barriers up. I'm going to share one more with you, which is actually really important, but people don't often think about. And this is going under the hood and the bonnet. What I would like to do is to invite you, if you're not part of the beautiful Visibility Vibes Tribe page, just to go over and go into Facebook and look for www.facebook.com/groups/ and I had to write this down to make sure I didn't forget, be seen, be heard, get visible. And if you're not part of the Visibility Vibes Tribe group yet, when you click on there, I'll personally accept your invitation to join, and you'll see some of the lovely people that are even on this live stream this morning are part of that lovely, supportive and connective group. And what we do is we help you to stand out in your own life, star in your own life, so that you can go for the things that you want to do, even those seemingly impossible things. And in about 20 minutes or so, when you look into that group, you'll also see an invitation of what we can do to get under the bonnet, to get under the hood. I'm calling it the Mindset Makeover. This is a 7-day Facebook challenge, and all the details will be in there. Easy to join. And what we're going to do is we're going to go deeper on just some of the things I've mentioned. We're going to go deeper every day. You'll have guidance on what to do and how to get you closer to that dream. And you'll be surprised at how much stuff is in our head and how much stuff isn't. But what we'll do, day by day, you'll have a little email that will get sent to you, and that email will let you know what the theme is for that day. It will take you not even 2 minutes to read, very short, sharp and succinct. I'll support you in a very special private group as well, with other people that want to, get the stuff going in their lives that they need to. Call it like an internal spring clean or a summer clean. And just to get really clear, really focused, so that you can start identifying, how to know exactly what you want, how to create your own way, not my way or their way, but your own way of going for the stuff that you want to go for in a way that feels comfortable and cozy to you, because I'm a firm believer that we're all individuals who all have different things they want to do. And I want to say hi to Lisa that's joined as well. How to identify what to do if you are breaking your own promises and what to do about them. What happens when you find yourself putting a barrier up, and how to stop that so that you can go forward. Because for many of you, it's not about yourself, it's about helping others and helping other people in the world. And how to stop that kind of freak out. So we'll go through 7 days, 1 day at a time. We'll go through these barriers, and one of the things that you'll also be able to do, I'm going to say hi to you, Lisa, and like that comment. So one of the things that you'll also be able to do is to take this forward from those 7 days and beyond. This is about, when you get to that place where you think, I want to give up. I don't know if I can do this. This is too difficult. This is about propelling yourself forward from that spot. This is about those of you that are really rocking it out there and getting the sorts of lifestyles that you want and actually going up to the next level. So do have a look in the group. It's the facebook.com/groups/be seen, be heard, get visible. Or if you look for the Visibility Vibes Tribe, or if you've got friends that are in the group, get them to join in as well. So the last thing that that I tend to see people doing is, there always comes a point where we're doing something and it's important to us, it matters, and we start to freak out. How do you stop that external freaking out thing? It could be that we think we become scared of something, we could become overexcited, we could become bothered by what other people are telling us, and we take on what they're telling us, and then the next thing we know, that's it, can't do it anymore. So how do we stop ourselves from freaking out? Now, this is the thing that most people think is like, you know, pen and paper, step by step by step, get it done. When actually this is everything to do with how we're feeling inside. And if we can start with how we're feeling inside, when we get to how we feel outside, how we show up in the world, how we motivate ourselves, how we activate our own ability, it becomes like you walk around, massive smile on your face, feeling a lot more calmer, feeling able to deal with a lot of other things that are around us, because we've all got busy lives. You know, we have our professional life, have our personal life, we have our fun times. We've always got something going on, and you know, like having a child or something like that, it's never a good time. You know, we don't get taught at school how to navigate, you know, the crap that gets thrown at us every day. So if you find that you feel like you've got too much going on, if you feel that you've got lots of different things to do, if you feel that you are just getting stuck and not being able to move forward, I believe that these 7 days that I've put together with all my heart will really help. So thank you for joining. I know that it's Becky's birthday, so happy birthday to Becky. And I just want to just kind of run through and summarise before we go, just to say, if you are finding that you need a check under the bonnet, if you need to go underground and inside of, you know, what could be stopping you or what could be holding you back, then have a look at like whether you're very clear on what it is you want. Have a look at what you're holding on to. Are you holding on to people, places, things, past memories, past bad experiences? Are you promising yourself that you're going to do something and then breaking the promise to yourself? Are you a, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that? What barriers do you put up against yourself? And sometimes the reason why we put the barriers up and don't even realise it is they're really hard to spot within ourselves. We put up barriers to say that we can't do things, and why. So how are you going to spot, you know, the barriers that you're putting up? And finally, how do you stop yourself from completely freaking out? You know, some people take up sports, some people take up meditation, some people take up mantras, some people take up affirmations or vision boards. But when you're actually going for this thing, you're in the middle of it and you start freaking out, apart from kind of like phoning a friend or speaking to your coach or mentor if you've got one, what do you do? So I'd really like to invite you to go over to the Visibility Vibes Tribe group. I'll also pop up an event a bit later on today on this page too. So if you're watching this on the recording and you're not part of the Visibility Vibes Tribe group, go over to facebook.com/be seen, be heard, get visible, and join a community of people who, bizarrely, when you say that you're going for something, there's something that you want, will also join in and say, you can do this, go for it. They'll give you support, they'll give you encouragement. I'll be in the group as well. I like to share little nuggets. I encourage you every Friday to celebrate the stuff that's been going on in your life. And, you know, that celebration could be, you know what, I've been ill and this whole week I've, you know, felt better, or this whole hour I felt better. So thank you so much for coming along to these Monday Motivations Live. I look forward to seeing you next week, bright and early, 7 a.m. UK time. And if you want to know how to get notified that these are going on, then please like this page, which is Jenny Kovacs, Speaker Trainer Coach, or facebook.com/Jenny Make It Happen. Thank you so much for joining me this Monday, and I look forward to seeing the amazing things and hearing about the amazing things that you do today or this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you over in the group and getting that mindset makeover for 7 days. Take care. Thank you so much for the love, and bye for now.